This podcast is part of E2C Network, where we share the whole Auburn experience. David Housel described it best. We are living the whole of the Auburn experience. You can quantify it or qualify it through a variety of methods: time, people, places, and things. But at its heart and at its core, the Auburn experience is all about Auburn sports, Auburn culture, and Auburn family stuff. An easier way to say it: if it's orange and blue, it's what we do. So thank you so much for joining us in what we're going to be doing on episode 150 of the Auburn Experience podcast. As always, I'm your host, Kyle Loomis, back in the saddle for episode 150. Mr. Austin Scott, happy 150 to you, sir.
Happy 150, Kyle. We made it, and I'm just really overjoyed about our 150th episode. We got a lot of special things to talk about. Really good shout out. Thank you to Auburn Athletics for letting us be the ones to break the news of who the next head coach will be on episode 150.
That's exactly it.
You got to stay till the very end to find out. But yeah, so happy 150. We made it, man.
What if we did break that news? We tried breaking news one time, which was correct, but but it didn't go so
rather
well.
Not talk about that.
That's sorry, this is probably
one day years in the future we will discuss every part of that.
I've discussed that. Sorry, this is like people are like, what are y'all talking about? If you had to be here to experience it back in that time, but we've talked about it openly. It's in some circles and stuff like that. But it was an interesting saga of us breaking the story that was true at the time, and then it changed, and then it didn't seem like we
people are human.
People are human, and they make choices and all that kind of stuff. But the great thing is we know exactly who the head coach of Auburn football is going to be on episode 150, and we're going to talk about it at the end of the show. I'm kidding. Okay, there's somebody that just tuned in right now, and they're going to be so mad because they heard nothing else, and they're going to get to the end. They're like, what is all this about? Anyway, episode 150. Now, we did work to do some special things, but we obviously have busy lives and busy schedules. So but it's just special that we're here. And I think the specialness, Austin, is the fact that let's just talk about it. 150 episodes that you and I have done together. I give or take, a handful. You've missed one. I've missed one. We've missed weeks. Like the episode 150 of this show has happened. The bulk of those, you and I together. I think, was there one show you did by yourself with someone else, or am I remembering that wrong?
I don't think so. I think it almost came to that.
Okay.
I remember prepping for that and then it not happening. But I don't, that hasn't quite happened yet, but we've done some on location. We've done some from both of us in this room where I am. We've done some from obscure locations and hopefully more of those to come.
Hey, by the way, some of the spaces that we have broadcast live from have been like in a very confined area, just different areas of it. A certain fraternity gave us a shout out on TikTok the other day. Yeah. And they were like, BG loves you. And I was like, well, literally we have filmed like with y'all providing background information.
Where was that? That was on, you were streaming on TikTok and they
streaming on TikTok. Me and the kids on TikTok these days, we like to hang out and do the youths, and I do the dances and all that kind of stuff. Not really. People are going to go to the TikTok app and go like, why is this dude not dancing? He said he was. Y'all don't want that. I promise. Y'all don't need that.
That's funny. Anyway, they reached out because we did. We were right there for very intense basketball games that happened.
We heard it
in the Fiji court.
Yeah, we're just trying to have this great interview with D Ford, I think. Was that episode 100? Or
that was one of those. It was D and Dalton was there, and yeah, man, they were going at it. It looked like fun.
It's fun. It's fun stuff over there. And so Fiji House always provides a background uniqueness to our audio when we're on location, which we enjoy. We've had pleasure of doing it from the Auburn Alumni Center. I think we'll have that again sometime in the future when it works out. But
maybe some other places. You never know.
Apparently Austin's got something he needs to tell me because I'm unaware.
I've sent you a picture before.
Oh, wait a minute. Now I feel like I should remember this, and I can't right now. It'll hit me
the
like
last month and a half when I have changed my employment.
You and okay, yeah. Well, we'll talk about it again. I think I'm back with you now. But they're like, y'all are talking so much like behind the scenes shop without actually being serious. Get to the show. All right, we're gonna get going here. But I want to do something with this, Austin, because I gave us a call out to us, but to our audience as well, because it is the holiday season, and it is, whether you want it to be or not, it's Christmas time. I know Thanksgiving's smack dab in the middle of it. It's Christmas. Yeah, it's Christmas time. I was on my roof, as I told you.
Season. Yes,
holiday season with
multiple
Christmas.
Holidays, but yeah,
it's getting Christmassy by the year. We're gonna do. It's already been unboxed. A live unboxing of Christmas Santa. Now this appears in the background every year. But
Aubrey Santa.
This is Aubrey Santa. No, Auburn Santa.
Auburn Santa. Yes.
This is Auburn
Man,
Santa.
what if we had an Aubrey Santa? Though?
What if Aubrey Claus showed up? But this is in the background every year. Maybe I should go ahead and commit to setting him up in the background. But
yeah, look at
him in all his little Auburn glory. What's he got in that bag? Probably nothing but losses in there for the Auburn football season. But
nothing but coaches changes and penalties and.
So anyway, I needed to follow up.
I love that.
I want to call out folks again, whether you want it to be or not. It's Christmas time, and we want to know from you. Christmas time, and we want to know how you guys are like decorating around the house for that celebrate Auburn and Christmas together. I try to put these lights up that I have every year. Will I have Auburn Santa and the lights up for our next stream? Probably not, but this is at least the motivation to start.
Sure.
You know what? How about this?
Here we go. We can't see him, but that's fine. There he is. He's going to have to sit. There you go.
That is creepy in the back shoulder right there. He has officially made it onto the show. All right.
Now that you say that, and now you bring up I will have Aubrey Claus pictures to report next week. We got awesome. We got this week on Thursday afternoon.
Very nice.
Inside Beardy's Memorial Coliseum.
One of the few times you can go in there and and do something
other
than.
It smells a little better than Christmas, and a little more like Christmas, and a little less like asbestos.
They probably want us to stop talking about that, Austin. Let's move on. I've monopolized the time of Christmas. Anything else for you, sir, this week?
No, I mean, it's been, we're getting there, and it's like I said, we got Aubrey Claus this week, and it was a refreshing bye week, and we're on to the back 2 games of the season. I was thinking about that as we were preparing for the episode today. Is like, no one's denying the frustration that Auburn football can bring you. But folks, there's only 2 games left. There's only 2 left. And we beg for it all year long to come back. As much as I'm out, they suck me back in. And so there's only 2 more weeks. Mm-hmm. So enjoy it. 2 more weeks on the plains, especially. That makes it even better. It could be 2 really special ones here. And I don't see our friend Rhyming Lemon in the chat tonight, but I did want to give him a little shout out.
Yeah, listen, he had an interesting call in on Wednesday, and he was very entertaining. So we've got an interesting crowd here, whether it's just the 2 of us on camera, but in the chat as well. So that's what makes it. So those of you listening to the audio portion of the show or watching the replay, you're missing out if you're not here in the live portion, especially for episode 150. Let's do it. Auburn potpourri time. We don't have the most things that we've ever had to talk about in Auburn potpourri, but some very important things to discuss. One of the things that we want to do is to give you an update on the Auburn volleyball program to start off, because the season, effectively the regular season, ended today, meaning mainly the SEC play. The Tigers finished 7-8 on the year in conference play. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's not that great. Now, overall, they were 16-10 on the year, and they started out outstanding in non-conference play, but 7-8 in SEC play. They hit a little rough patch here in the last part, taking on Georgia, Texas A&M, Texas, and LSU. But they got some really good wins, beat Alabama in SEC play. It's if you look at the schedule for Auburn volleyball, they literally go like win, loss. It just like it comes in spurts and stuff like that. I think, though, we would be remiss if we didn't at least mention very briefly that, did you watch or hear about the Texas game or match and the roaring comeback that they made?
Yes. So funny enough, I was there.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you were there.
I was there. I got there at the time it was supposed to start. There was a campus-wide power outage.
That's right.
And so it was very creepy and eerie in there, but I took Barrett with me. And so we got there at the time it was supposed to start and had planned to stay for like about as long as he would go, about an hour. But that ended up only really being like half of set 1. Mm-hmm. So we did not get to stay for the whole time, but I kept up with it after we left. And super impressive. Wish I had gotten to stay. because that was incredible. From that first opening half of that set one, that they were going to be in for a challenge with just how big and how just ferocious Texas was, and the way they hit the ball. So really, really impressive stuff that they were able to come back like that and put together a really good game against a top 5 team.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that would be reiterated there. Top 5 team. I saw them do this last year against Kentucky in a very similar situation. If you're not aware of what happened exactly, got down 2 sets, you need 3 to win. They come roaring back, win 2 sets, and then make Texas go down to the wire, essentially, in that final and shortened set to win the match. So that's how conference play has ended. Here's the thing that we want to make you aware of, because correct me if I'm wrong, this is not the first time this is happening, but is now returning. The SEC volleyball tournament has happened previously, and they just stopped doing that. Do you remember anything about that?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what took place that got it to stop, but I think that it made a lot more, maybe, but I mean, that would make sense. It makes a lot more sense now with, you've got, this is Vanderbilt's first year.
Yeah.
And then the addition of Texas and Oklahoma, so you have like that even 16. I feel like is probably a good way to bring it back. You were just telling me pre-show it's set up exactly how the basketball tournament is now.
Yeah, so if you look at the bracket online, you can see how it looks. I mean, it's like you're looking at a basketball tournament right here, which for our purposes, for Auburn, first round bye, baby. Don't have to play that first day. And that obviously is a great start to it.
Yeah, exactly. And look, you said earlier we're 7-8 in conference play, and people think, oh, that's not very good. That gets you the number 8 seed in the conference, though, so smack dab in the middle. So it really tells you what kind of conference this was.
It's like the SEC is good in all sports or something like that.
How many times have you heard that on this show in 150 episodes?
150 times plus some. So just a quick view of the potential path for Auburn, if there is a path, as the number 8 seed. So they're the last one to get that bye, first round bye. They'll take on the winner of Oklahoma and Arkansas. If they were to win that, they would take on Kentucky. If they were to somehow win that, they're likely facing number 4 Tennessee, maybe number 5 Florida, depending on how things shake out, or maybe a surprise out of there. And then, the number 1 and 2 seeds on the other, the 2 seed on the other side is Texas A&M, with Auburn potentially having to beat the number 1 Kentucky, which they did last year in regular season place. It's not out of the realm of possibilities, but obviously we're excited to have the SEC tournament back, and we'll let you know how the ladies do with probably our next episode. Actually, it will, if they have exited the tournament, we will be able to have an update next Sunday, but we're going to hope that we're talking about, hey, they're still going Monday and Tuesday into that SEC tournament.
Wait, so how's that? What's their first day?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Okay. Yeah, so it's backed up, and because it's just like basketball. Wednesday would be, you'd have to play Wednesday to get to.
Exactly. 5 rounds. There you go. That's how it all shakes out. Auburn volleyball in the SEC tournament. The SEC tournament is back. We're excited to have them. Let's switch gears off of sports for a little bit. And Austin, I feel like we can keep making jokes about episode 150. How many times have we talked about the chicken wars that rage across the municipalities of Auburn?
Chicken finger capital of the world continues to be more and more of a reality.
Oh my goodness. I feel like, so we did talk about Raising Cane's on here, right? Coming, I think.
I'm not sure we did.
Hey, Raising Cane's is coming, everybody.
Raising Cane's is coming. I will say, if you read the whole article, which was behind a paywall, but if you read, there were some design elements that needed to be shifted and changed by the proposal of Raising Cane's of downtown Auburn. I'm sure they'll change it.
Yeah.
To meet what the city of Auburn would prefer. It was quite a difference in what the city of Auburn looks like downtown. But for all intents and purposes, like you said, Raising Cane's is coming. Adds another chicken and fries place to the chicken finger capital of the world. But we did lose 10 to Jig, so I guess this kind of
are we balancing? Are all things?
All things are balancing back out. Oh, what's this?
We did not just do that. We did not just do that. Oh my gosh! There's more people like, what are y'all freaking out about? We'll get.
How many chicken finger places are there, Kyle? Is it 6?
I don't know. Is it? Here we are doing the things.
We're too old.
Oh, we're too old to be doing this crap. So Raising Cane's is not what I wanted to start, but I wanted to make sure we at least brought that up. So I guess welcome to Raising Cane's. They're taking over Bourbon Street, I think. We continue to eliminate some of the old guard of the Auburn College downtown area. But the thing that we want to bring up, and I have never heard of this before, but the next in the wave of the chicken war is around Auburn municipalities and Opelika municipalities is Hattie B's hot chicken.
Yes.
What's this all about? Talk to me about this, Austin.
So there's one in Birmingham, which is where I'm originally from, and where Emily and I lived for a year after getting married. And there was a Hattie B's we used to go to after some work events I had. But it's a Nashville, specialized in Nashville hot chicken place. So it's this theme, or I don't know how to call it, the trend of we call it Nashville hot chicken, and it's more like, not like buffalo chicken, but kind of that it's seasoned and baked where it's a hotter chicken. So this isn't quite one of those places that's the chicken and fries combo places that are like the rest of Auburn has, like Guthrie's or Foosackly's, or I guess you could throw Zaxby's in there, and Raising Cane's, or Tender Chick, RIP. But I think that it's another chicken place, and it's a little bit different. So it's got some more sides. It'll be more of the sit down place, but less like, that combo between the fast food and sit down place. But it is taking over. Gosh, what was there? Help me, Kyle. I can see it right in front of me. It's the old Auburn Theater, right next to where Gap was, but it is not Gap anymore. It is Target is on the other side. Well, this is really disappointing.
This is disappointing.
And I pass this all the time. It's a burger place.
Wait a minute. Oh,
it is
Five Guys.
5 Guys. Wow.
Have we already forgotten about Five Guys?
That was rough.
Sam is one of our viewers. Hey, real quick, Sam, one of our viewers and followers everywhere. He is like the biggest lamenter that Five Guys left. So he's screaming when he hears this. Sorry. Anyway.
I'm very sorry to hear that, Sam. Maybe if you'd taken more people with you, they might have said,
wow.
So Hattie B's is going into the old Five Guys. I think it's gonna be really good. I think it's gonna be a really good spot. There's always a question of parking in downtown Auburn, but it's something different. I know people say it's chicken, but it's something different. And adds a little flavor. Did you read, Kyle, about who's opening it? Like who's behind it? It's the
I read a little bit, but why don't you enlighten us?
It's the father-son Auburn duo. They both graduated from Auburn, and opened Hattie B's, and are like very involved in the process of wanting to bring one to Auburn, and feel very passionately. It means a little bit more to them than just opening a restaurant. They're opening one at their alma mater site, and look to have a lot of Auburn kind of theme to it, which I think is great. That you're going to win me over with that, over just like a random place anytime.
Yeah, I mean, listen, anytime we can work the Auburn angle, it's like Guthrie's has Auburn ties too. So, I mean, that's always good. The firehouse next to the interstate or near the interstate has that Auburn mural. And I know most firehouses do that. That's what you do in a college town, is you try to make the ties back to what you're there. When you do that, it gives a little bit of that extra flair, and it makes it even more special that it's a father-son duo. So I guess welcome to Hattie B's, and we'll likely be talking about you. Welcome to the chicken wars of Auburn, and maybe one day we'll have to re-enter the conversation about that.
It's been a few years.
It has been a few years, and there were a lot of wrong takes in that last few years ago, but
we'll see about
it. We'll see about that. That is your Auburn food segment for the week. It's not necessarily to make this completely serious, but we always want to bring up things that I think are important. Many of you may have heard of the Iron Ruck, and this is an event that happens every year around the Iron Bowl, where those that have served, and in honor of those that have served, and I believe it is also for mental help me with the term I'm struggling with here.
Yeah, mental health. It's
mental health awareness.
It places a very bright light on the kind of epidemic of veterans that commit suicide, and there's a lot of nuances and different details that go into the Iron Ruck that are specific to that. But I've been learning more about this in my day job, because it's kind of a closer tie to the schools of kinesiology and the college education. But the Iron Ruck like you said, an annual tradition where the game ball is delivered from the opposing team, the away team's stadium, and a hike or trek all the way to the home stadium in time for the game. Will be taking place. I think you said they're starting on Wednesday.
So that's what Governor Kay Ivey commemorated Wednesday before as the Iron Ruck Day, which to our knowledge means that's when it will begin. And they are marching from, one to the other in certain ways. I'm sure there are certain nuances to it that we're leaving out of it, but that's the whole shtick. It's a way to just bring awareness to that. It definitely catches a lot of people's eyes. I have been blessed enough the last 2 times they've come to Auburn I completely forgot about it. And I'm sorry about that, but it slipped my mind, but to just happen upon it both times. And it was like the perfect arrival of watching this crowd of people, supporters as well, earlier in the morning, just arriving into campus with big crowds and flags. And there are Alabama flags in there too. It's okay. This is a way for us all to come together. So I know you see an Alabama flag just coming into town, you're like, just cringing just a little bit, but that's not what this is about. Iron Ruck, if you can be in town, I would highly recommend it. I don't know the exact details. I'm sure if we find them out when they might be arriving, we'll be sharing that, because I will definitely be making a point to capture that moment of them arriving for you all to see, because it's a very important cause. And it's a way, the few times that Auburn and Alabama can come together, it's something productive outside of their normal animosity that happens there from time to time. Final quick note here, just on that weekend, and we'll discuss Alabama next week. But there is some, I think, changes coming with like RV parking and things like that.
Oh dear!
This year, it's not even that big a deal. It just basically, there's an article. I know I'm like, y'all, you're not giving us information, Kyle. Auburn put out an article / a post about parking situations for the Iron Bowl, meaning that a lot of the RVs can be left start after the Mercer game, but you can't stay in them. Go check that out if you're one of our RV people out there that are.
Dear, that sounds like
it sounds fun for those that've got to manage it, but I think if you're someone that is thinking about the challenges of a Thanksgiving week, what are you doing?
I'm just like thinking of, like picturing these poor people walking up to an RV on Thanksgiving night and like nobody home, making sure.
Listen, there are rules with how you can do this. I would just highly recommend as you prepare for Iron Bowl weekend, there's a concert in town. There's a lot going on this year. There's a lot going on. I'm telling you, just be aware of some of those things. Maybe we can get that together.
Everybody out in the RV field, please. Go home, but you can't take your automobile.
You can leave your RV, but you can't stay here.
Start walking.
Get to the Hapa.
I don't
know. I just worked it in. This has been a wild show. Episode 150. We promised it would be somewhat normal, but here we are doing some random things. It's got to be
better than episode 1, though, right? Like 149 later. Those of you who are still here, it's got to be better, right?
Yeah, it's bless your hearts. I mean, my gosh, it's a miracle you're still here. All right, back to the main topics. Let's talk about some football. Certainly, there is not a lot to discuss in the football realm. It's bye week number 2, after all. Can we commit today, folks, whoever this folks is, that we never see a double bye week again? Can we just please be done with it?
I don't think that's going to happen here. With 9 games in the SEC play now?
It can happen, Austin. It can happen. We just refuse to start games in August. If we will just refuse that games.
Then we got the FOMO from everybody else.
I don't care. I don't care.
But it's basically a bye week then.
Football
at the beginning of the year, because then you're just like you're just sad you miss it. You're just like, oh, we gotta wait another week.
Football does not start in August for college. For high school, that's high school. That's why we call it high school ball. Football does not start in August. And I am saying today, if we will commit to no August kickoffs, we will not have to endure double bye weeks. It is stupid.
All we want is no double byes, no August football, and homecoming not in September.
It's very simple. That's all I'm saying.
I would prefer we not have our bye week in front of Mercer.
And I was trying to think if I had something else to throw on top. I did. Those are good enough. Those are good enough demands from us to start off.
Y'all got that?
It's bye week after all. What is there to talk about? No, there is some things to talk about. Yes, we will discuss the updates that may be out there. Like we said, we'll break the news of who the new Auburn head coach is going to be at the end of episode.
The very end.
The very end.
Last thing we say. Yeah.
We promise there will be. My sources say this, guaranteed. This person's coming here. Bye week stuff. It doesn't have to be this structured, Austin, but I thought it would be appropriate. This is what you do in a bye week, at least if you're the team, you're assessing things. Obviously, Auburn's got a very important 2 games coming up. And I say 2 because people forget that they've got to play Mercer and that you still need to show up and take care of business there. And Mercer, from what I understand, is not a horrendous FCS team. So got to show up and show out for that. And then you got this all-important Iron Bowl, which is now magnified even a little bit more because of the importance of what happens if Alabama doesn't win it for them. So there's a lot. There's bowl eligibility riding on this. There's playoff safety on the line for Alabama. So the Iron Bowl, whether you were worried about it being a big deal or not, is going to be a big deal. We're going to get there, but both games are important to get. We got to get through this point, though, is what I'm saying. And so what does Auburn need to do in this final 2 weeks to improve upon what hasn't worked? Some would say we fixed one of those problems. We don't need to be as direct as that, but certainly that one game seemed to improve some things a lot. But we'll see if that translates over into the Alabama game. I don't think you can really assess much, hopefully, off of the Mercer game. Hopefully it looks exactly how it's supposed to look. I got 3 things, Austin, that I think the team should be working on. Kyle's assessment of Coach Kyle, because he knows everything, right?
Coach Kyle.
I'm going to throw you onto the fire first. What's the first thing that you think this Auburn football team has to improve, do better, continue, and expand upon? If you are the head coach in this final bye week, which should never have happened, what are you doing?
I was going to make a comment, but I'm not. I think the biggest thing for me that has to be fixed, and this is kind of a season-long issue, and I hope was really drilled into some heads this week, is just penalties. It seems like the majority of those are on the offensive side of the ball. Mm-hmm. So this can be my offense one if you would prefer to keep it that way. It's just penalties and discipline in understanding how those hurt the game, how those hurt Auburn's efforts that for most of the year have already been hindered offensively, and self-imposed penalties like that don't help anymore. So that was still a glaring thing during the Vanderbilt game, right? And I think you can chalk a lot of the Vanderbilt game up to just the chaos of the week, and that's fine. I think that's definitely, you can say that for the defense. People don't want to hear that, but you cannot tell me they weren't somehow affected by the week. Now, I don't think they should have given up 40 plus, but I think that for the offense specifically, those penalties have been a year-long issue. And hopefully during the bye week, that is you have a tune-up game with Mercer, who has been playing really good ball at their division this year. So you have a tune-up game with them to really focus on doing the right things. That is all that you can control. And so hopefully that is an emphasis.
Well, I'm gonna go off of what you just said here and say something maybe counter to what you just said. Not to say 100% agree. Penalties got to be cleaned up. But I'm thinking the importance of these last 2 games for Auburn and what's on the line, another losing season, not going to a bowl game. It comes time for a little recklessness, I think. And I think that's what's in order for special teams a little bit. There was a problem for several seasons now, and starting off the season with penalties, blocks in the backs on kickoffs. And you saw some of that maybe pulled back a little bit, maybe earlier in this season, maybe not as much lately, but I think we're at the point now, especially at home for these last 2 games. Just do it. I'm saying run it out. That's probably stupid. I acknowledge that, but run the ball. Catch it first, on the punts and the kickoffs, please. For all that's good and kind. We've seen what happens when you don't do that in Iron Bowls.
Yes.
But once you have that ball in your hands, let's let Rashawn Pleasant do some stuff. Let's let, if Cobb's still back there doing it, whoever it is, just run it go make a play, reckless abandon. That does counteract what you were saying there with some of those penalties, because a lot of them came on special teams.
Well, yes, but in a way, you do that, then you have to execute correctly. There is no trying to get away with a block in the bag. There is no trying to, or not being aware of where you are on the field in order that a penalty might be called against you in a holding or something like that. And so I think that it all that goes together, especially on special teams, is making sure that you have the proper mindset of we're not going to hurt ourselves, and that really hasn't been the case a lot of the year. It doesn't feel like it.
Yeah. That's what I think. Now is the time for reckless abandonment, is what I'm saying. Yeah. At least on the special teams elements that haven't, kicking's righted itself a little bit, and I think we're feeling a little bit more comfortable with Alex and that situation there. Let's take a few chances on special teams. What's number 2 for you if you've got a number 2?
I think, and focusing on making sure the defense gets back to what it is. They got roughed up, absolutely roughed up by Pavia's crew in Nashville, and certainly an incredible defense that was or an offense that was put together to attack it and did things that they were not sure of, not comfortable with, that they had not seen before. Right. But I think getting back to where they need to be for these last 2 games that are very important, especially given what's at stake for yourselves, which is most important for first and foremost. But, all these guys are auditioning for what's to come, whoever the next coach is. Yeah. So putting their best foot forward from a defensive standpoint and getting back to giving Auburn every chance to win, because that's what they've had all year. They've had every chance to win all these games, every single one of them. And a large part is that for the defense. So I'd love to see that return. I strongly believe it will. I do not think last week is going to sit very well with DJ Durkin and the defensive staff after what they've done all year and being that impressive.
I will add on your defense a little bit, maybe just a fine point on it. And correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think most Auburn fans will agree. There's been an issue with slants over the middle, or maybe skinny posts over the middle, a lot seeming to damage Auburn. And I feel like Alabama, in a situation where they have struggled, no matter how good their teams have been in Jordan-Hare the last several times, I think that's something that Auburn has shown that they're success. Even deep passes over the middle, maybe 10 yards, 15 yards plus. To me, that's got to be an emphasis on that. Now, with Alabama, they have not shown that they can sustain an outstanding running game. I'm not saying it's terrible by their standards. I know it is. So maybe there is room to kind of key off of that and make sure that you make them beat you on the outside with, outside passes, and have your athletes make the plays. Let's stop this over the middle stuff that's been plaguing Auburn since Baylor game, in my opinion.
Yeah, true.
So that's my number 2. My final one I'll take, and then if there's anything left that I haven't taken, it's the same old story for you and me. It's an arbitrary thing, not arbitrary. It's a broad thing. Consistency on the offensive line for these final 2 games. I want to see an offensive line that looks SEC caliber against Mercer, doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Get the backups that are left in there and rotate them in as quickly as possible to heal up the guys for the next week. I hope Mason Murphy, I thought I did a good job at center. So maybe no more rotation there. I thought Kale Ellis did great for what he was asked to do at the time, and I think he's going to have a great, bright future. But to me, whether that's consistency in the personnel, no injuries, things like that, I'm looking for consistent play from the Auburn offensive line. I think that's the biggest thing for me for these final 2 games. Anything else for you?
Yeah, well, I think that we finally saw some what's the word? Some real reaction and actual proof of saying we're going to get the ball to our playmakers in the Vanderbilt game. And I think you have to continue to do that. And I think a lot of people think immediately that has to mean Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton Jr. They are certainly a part of that. But I think Jeremiah Cobb is every bit as important to open those guys up. He is like, I didn't look up the number, and I should have before, but it's like 90 yards from 1,000.
Something like that.
Which I've listened to people say before, in the grand scheme of things, getting to 1,000 yards does not mean like anything. It's just our society loves round numbers. But to think about that he, as quiet of a year as he's had,
right,
to think that that's what he's getting to, and he's not had the same amount of carries as other guys who are at those numbers. Utilizing him so that Cam and Eric on the outsides can get their touches, and so that it's easier on Ashton or whoever is playing quarterback. That is key for the next two games. And Kyle, I'm excited for the next two games. I really am. I think that you're right. You absolutely should be, because one, like I said at the beginning of the show, this doesn't come around. It goes by too quick. So no matter what, but these kids have been through a lot this year, and there's a lot that in this day and age of college football where these playmakers can just, they could quit anytime they want, and take their money and run. They haven't, and there's still a lot to play for. And I think that our playmakers specifically will be very excited for what's coming. So I'm pumped.
Yeah, I'm as well, for the simple fact of that we learned in 2020 that it's not guaranteed that you'll get to see any, much less a full season of Auburn football. So that is why I'm always thankful to be there. And I know some of y'all hate that answer, but listen, that's just the reality of it. And trust me, we're much more satisfied with he's messing with the I thought you were going to just ignore the comments, and now we got to acknowledge.
I just took my half. That's all I was doing.
That's all you did. Sorry, I can't.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, that's our, before I lose concentration any further, there's our assessments of bye week and what we think coaches Kyle and Austin should be working on.
Coach Kyle.
I don't know how well that would go over. Actually, at this point, give me the reins, because
hey man,
anyway,
if you get fired,
listen, I'll work to get fired for that kind of jack.
Not that bad.
Not that bad at all. All right, final thing in the football segment for this week. I want to play our little game, Austin.
Yay.
Yes, I know that you just love this. I think it's fair. What on earth? I looked away, and then how are we supposed to do this with props like now? Like, is that what this is? Bring a prop to Auburn? This is not how I expected episode 150 to go. Creepy Santa in the background, I think. Sorry, I'm moving back there. All right.
Old Santa.
Old Santa. All right.
I wish he was in blue.
Yeah. He'd show up a little bit better.
It's fine.
It's fine. Whatever. Beggars can't be choosers. All right. Coaches segment. Is it fair to say there's not really any big updates that are of any value, or am I wrong?
No, I mean, I think that's probably pretty accurate.
It's week 3, start of week 3, essentially, of Auburn looking for a new head coach. We've warned you that there's not going to be anything of value until the season really is over. There are going to be people who say that they know, and they might, but the reality is, folks, this is just a bunch of carousel shenanigans until the season really is over. And I hope we're wrong on that. But that means is we get to play this game with Austin. Percentage confidence that this name is going to be the next head coach at Auburn football. So you made a commitment to potentially doing this, like making it all equal out to 100.
Yeah. I decided so I can remember better what I've said, that I'm going to make it all equal. My percentages equal 100 this time.
Here's the problem. You don't know how many of them I'm going to ask.
I don't.
So this is going to be interesting. Now I kind of want to make this. I want to make this difficult.
My calculator here, my abacus.
So I'm going to throw you. That was a good word, actually. I'm very impressed with you.
Thank you. College vet.
First name for you, percentage confidence that will be the next Auburn head football coach starting week 3. Eli Drinkwitz.
We're gonna put at 10%.
10%. Lane Kiffin.
0. I think Lane's out.
James Franklin.
Lane's going to Gainesville.
That's probably true. James Franklin.
0. I think James is out as well.
Those are 2 significant changes, folks, if you count what we're saying here to be of any value of the last several weeks. So 2 big zeros right off the board there. So really, Eli is the only option currently that I've asked you about. John Sumrall.
35%.
A little bit down, but you also are trying to make.
I'm trying to get it to 100.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get to 100.
I'm just saying. Kenny Dillingham.
Like 2%.
And Rhett Lashley.
0.
DJ Durkin.
35.
Clark Lee.
18.
Is that what you're lacking left?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. I was wondering if I could throw one in there at the end, but I'll make it all go out to 100 for you. So there you go.
Who are you going to throw in at the end?
I don't know, just somebody random. There's a bunch of coordinators coming, the names that are coming out now. That not that they would be random, they've been discussed, but there's Austin's percentage confidence, who will be the next Auburn head football coach starting.
Let me see if I can look at a summary of that. So we had Eli Drinkwitz at 10, John Sumrall at 35. Who was the other one you said? Who was the 2? Dillingham at 2.
Durkin.
Durkin at 35 and Clark Lee at 18%.
So summary: John Sumrall, DJ Durkin, Clark Lee is basically what you just said is the top 3.
And then Eli Drinkwitz.
I'm sorry. So top 4 and 2 major names out of it. So there's your summary. We'll see if it holds true for week 4, because we'll be doing a week 4 at this point. All right, that is football for the week. Let's move on to final major topic. It is basketball season. Week 2 underway, and boy, what a fun day it was, despite the results. Ladies and gentlemen, it ain't November. It's March Madness time, baby. We will try to get you, and I know about the calendar. I understand it's not March, folks. Some of y'all in the comments are going to roast me for not clarifying there. Yes, it felt like March Madness today for men's basketball. So we'll do a little bit of men, and then we'll talk about the women and how they've had a great week too. The men this week, let's start there. Got a opponent in Wofford, what you're supposed to do to Wofford. Auburn did that and then some, getting to that high water mark of the low 90s, 93 points total for them to 62, dominating Wofford. Is there really anything? Elijah Freeman had an outstanding game, which I think with the way the first 2 games with him with some, ill-timed penalties, it was a nice change of pace for him. Was there anything else from Wofford other than looking like you're supposed to that we need to discuss?
I don't remember the stat exactly, but I know Keyshawn Hall went 20 and 10 maybe through his first 3 games as a Tiger for the first time since maybe KT Harrell or maybe even further back than that. I think it was through 3 games since KT Harrell, first 3 games as a Tiger since someone in the 80s maybe. I cannot remember the stat.
I think you're right.
I think it was Justin Ferguson put that out. But I think he's continuing to be an absolute stud for Auburn, and we'll get to the Houston game in a minute. Hopefully he continues to be a stud for Auburn. But just absolutely everything that you hope for in your big time transfer haul.
Yeah. I listen, Keyshawn Hall is lived up to the hype, and then some. And I had this conversation today on the post-game show, just not talking about the context of the game, but just in general. We've reached the point where Keyshawn Hall is most likely going to be your leading scorer. And so he's now doing what Janai Broom did. So last season, when we get to the end of the game and I'm asking for player of the game, it's almost like the floor has been raised for Keyshawn already 3 games in, really, because we're just wrapping up Wofford here, to he's got to do extra now on 20 isn't good enough. It is good enough to be player of the game, but you see what I'm saying? It's just
right. He's competing with himself.
Right. At this point, he has lived up to the hype and then some. So Wofford taking care of business. This Houston game, man. Listen, if you're a college basketball fan, you are blessed, and very much so. If you're an Auburn basketball fan, you are blessed and very much so, even in a loss. Today, the Auburn Tigers fall 72-73 in Birmingham. The return trip of last year's agreed-upon series to play at neutral sites in the close cities of each of these teams. Houston, they played in Houston, not at their place, but in a neutral site. And then Birmingham, which is a mega hub for Auburn fans in the state of Alabama. For those of you that are maybe watching from Texas and don't know what goes on here, you're probably same how we feel about y'all in Texas. We don't know what goes on there. You don't know what goes on here.
Maybe we know y'all are big. Okay, we know
everything's
big.
bigger in Texas, apparently.
Right.
Especially how much you pay the referees. But
y'all's mouths are too big.
No, that was an outstanding game, Austin. I think it is oversaid, but it is fair. You just watched March Madness football for basketball today, and I enjoyed the heck out of that one.
It was everything a Sweet 16 game looks like, certainly. Just a really incredible game. Just, Coach Stephen Pearl said post-game, moral victories are for losers, which is hilarious to me.
That's awesome.
It's a very funny quote. And he was very adamant that they did not expect to play close. They did not expect to lose by one. They expected to come and win, which is what you want to hear from your head coach. So I don't say any of this, what I'm about to say, to disregard that.
Yeah.
He's the coach. He should say all that. And I fully believe he means it. And the players are not happy about losing today.
Right.
However, for those of us who watch the team and are fans of the team and cover the team, I don't see how you cannot be genuinely impressed and pleased after coming away from the game. We all want to win. I want to win so badly. First of all, I have to say I was not there. I want to win so bad. And so that's off the table, though, when you look at where we didn't know what this team was going to be like coming in to play the number one team in the country. Certainly, we're all still thinking about Bethune-Cookman and going to overtime. We're all still thinking about this is a whole brand new team outside Tahad. We're all thinking about Tahad's struggles so far this year. A brand new coach, you're trying to gel it all together. And I think that when you look at that, it's a 1-point loss to the number one team in the country. You have to feel pretty good about where maybe this Auburn team is at the moment, maybe than you did coming into it. Yeah, I mean, what do you think?
I enjoyed. I consider myself a student of the game. I know I say that a lot. Those of you that watch post-game shows, you like Kyle, you say that every show. I know. I mean that genuinely. That I love playing basketball, and I love watching it and analyzing it and talking about the stats behind it and all that stuff. What are we doing with that?
Scratching my neck, man.
What are we doing on this show? 1 to 50 has been a weird one. I loved so much of it. I love that Tahad has been the talk of, is he in a sophomore slump? Is he going to be struggling the whole season? Everybody's panicking about that, as Auburn fans do. I told you he would arrive. Now, listen, it's not like he scored 20 points, but you looked at his stat line. I think it was 15 points, 1 assist, three rebounds or 5, some rebounds, 2 blocks and 2 steals. Like all around, Todd was everywhere. He was blocking shots. He was dishing the ball. He was making 3-pointers. Still a little bit low on his field goal percentage and stuff, but he's working his way through it. So I loved seeing Tahad have a game on the big stage, which is what we expected, and maybe, just maybe, the thing that he needed to get himself out of the funk that he was in scoring wise, even though he's been contributing very well outside of Coach Stephen Pearl's talked about, and his teammates have talked about that. If you haven't seen it, we've shared a little clip from Keyshawn Hall last week talking about that very thing. Your presence out there matters just as much as what stats you are providing. I think
100%.
Tahad's presence is always a huge impact on this game, especially as the de facto leader of this team, being the only one left from last year. So there's that. I think the big thing that Auburn fans are worried about is Keyshawn Hall and what happened. Do you know of an update on him or anything that was said about that? It was
I do not.
Ankle injury.
Right. I actually didn't even get to see it. I saw the replay, but we had a birthday party for the boys today. Not their birthday party, a friend's birthday party. And so it was on, but I did not get to see it up close. I know he was hurt and then tried to come back in, didn't make it back in.
He really wanted to come back in.
Yeah. I don't doubt it. And so I do not know. I'm sure we'll get an update. I think Steven does he have his pressers on Tuesday?
He'll have his preview on Tuesday, I believe.
Previews on Tuesday. So yeah. I'm sure we'll find out some more then. Obviously, I think the fact that he was back out on the bench is a good sign.
Yeah.
But that's a everyone hold your breath moment for the season. But I look at it and I see he got 20 and 11 without playing the last 6 minutes of the game. Yeah. And just dude is an absolute unit. And I think that's one of those things you throw in there is in the ifs, ands, or buts, or but if you all playing a few more minutes in this game, or you throw that final tip in at the buzzer goes in, or you throw not being 64% from the free throw line into any of those, then we're all talking about the biggest Auburn win of the year, of Stephen Pearl's career, and everything of the last, I don't know, 5 years. So, you have to be encouraged with this, but obviously this is one of those games. And I've said this before. I said this on the show last year when Auburn decided to schedule a gauntlet of a non-con. This is a game Auburn did not win. It did not win. It did not win. I'm saying that over and over. But in March, this will be a win when that committee's trying to figure out where to put Auburn. And so I think that's a huge, huge thing for Auburn in the first year staff and roster, where we didn't know a lot was coming into it. And kudos to this team for stepping up when it mattered, for Murph for coming back and playing after a while and putting together a good game, for Tahad stepping up and being Tahad. Big game Had was here. And I think that you have to be encouraged overall with looking at this team.
I would agree. My two biggest takeaways, a negative and a positive here. The negative is very glaring. The free throws. Free throws win and lose games and championships, and certainly you make a few of your free throws. And it's not just one person, but you're talking about a different story here. I cannot stress that enough. Free throws. The positive is what you already alluded to in terms of perceptions. We're not talking about moral victories, but we're just talking about what it means for the perception of this team, because committees and stuff are looking at a team where nobody's there except Tahad. Did this bunch of transfers and high school people they pulled together. Is it going to be worth a flip with Bruce Pearl leaving? There's going to be those questions. Is it nepotism? It wasn't. You just showed together that this staff is still together. It's still the same group of people. They can still find the talent, bring it together. And even outside of what other people think, it legitimized probably for this team together that this is real. Like, we can do this.
100%.
We can play
Great
with
point.
the best. The number one team in the nation at the current time, and deservedly so. It's Kelvin Sampson and all of those guys, a lot of those guys from that run last year. They can do this. Does that mean we're about to see the most amazing run of season for Auburn basketball ever? Not necessarily, but the capability is there. And that's a great thing to know for the rest of the season. And so that's why I think this week we'll look back on as one of the more important weeks of the season. It legitimized that Auburn is not just going to fall off this year. At least it shouldn't. If it does fall off, something's drastically wrong. They are ready to compete with the best in the SEC and the nation. It's going to be an exciting year under Mr. Stephen Pearl, and nearly got that little notch in his belt of that first mega win. And boy, what a win it would have been. But congrats to Houston. And they looked very much the number one team in the nation. Let's talk about the women to round out our basketball week 2 talk. While they didn't have the mega game that the men did, they are taking care of business. 4-0, 5-0, 4-0.
4-0.
They're about to play. We're recording on a Sunday night, but they'll be playing tomorrow. So it's hopefully 5-0 by that time. But 2 wins on the week: UNC Greensboro 64-57, and then Mississippi Valley. I'm sorry, I don't know what y'all said to Coach Larry Vickers, and 101-50.
110.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wrote it down wrong. 110-50. It's even worse.
Yes.
Man, I got to learn to read and write. Math's hard for me. So many things are difficult for me on this on episode 150. Keeping a straight face when the little thing comes up into view over here. Anyway, great. I mean, first 100-point game for Coach Larry Vickers. We can keep saying that for a little while, but eventually it'll all become new. The only thing that I gotta discuss, and you and I be crotchety old men about for a second, this whole 6-7 thing that's like the new trend.
Lord,
and it was like I did not expect Auburn to promote that like happening as much at the it was at the Mississippi Valley State game,
Education Day,
and all of that. I mean, they had a great crowd. I think it was the record crowd for women's basketball. Neville, so that's great too.
Daggum every elementary school in the county. And man, if you don't think that wasn't hard to play in, no wonder Mississippi Valley State lost by 60.
Yep. And then all the kids doing this 6-7 thing at the same time, like trend on TikTok. We don't need to be crotchety old men.
We don't know. We're too old. We know about it. I don't know where it came from. Don't care to know where it came from. When I was their age, I thought because 7, 8, 9 was the funniest joke in the world, and so I guess it's all come full circle.
Is that what this is? Is it just 7, 8, 9? Like, is that what the equivalent of this is?
I don't know. I just thought, why was 6 afraid of 7 when I was a kid? I thought the answer 7, 8, 9 was so funny that's the only thing I think about when I hear about this trend, and I have no idea where this came from.
It's
everywhere.
Thing. It's everywhere, and it doesn't make sense, and it's not just Auburn basketball. But I know that's not what y'all expected us to break down the women's basketball week, but they are taking care of business right now. Great start for Coach Larry Vickers. Now the competition is going to get a little tougher here as you get deeper into non-conference play, and then there's SEC play looming out there. So all in all, basketball weeks 1 and 2 across the board, men and women, have just been fun, whether there's a loss mixed in there against the number 1 team for the men. But hey, it's been a good time. Basketball season is here, folks, whether you like it or not. And I'm enjoying the heck out of it right now. Episode 150, Austin. We somehow
did it.
We did it. I don't know what happened at some points in 150. There were little foam fingers coming up into view. Santa Claus made a debut in the unboxing. We were doing trends, and that just things are just happening, man. You know, I downplayed episode 150 and said it wouldn't be special. It was extra special, maybe just not the kind of special that you were thinking about. There was a lot of shenanigans that happened. This is what happens when you give us 2 bye weeks. Stop giving us 2 bye weeks and these shenanigans don't happen.
Oh, dear.
I know. I'm sorry. I'll shut up. Episode 150 in the books. Thank you all for being here and hanging out with us. If you want to keep up with me, I'm kind of there at Kyle Loomis 24. Hit up the DMs for most of the social media for E2C Network, or email e2cnetwork@gmail.com. Where can they find you, sir?
Yeah, at Austin G. Scott on X, on Instagram. That's where I am. And you can find us here anytime. I gave him a shout out earlier but he wasn't here. Rhyming Lemon. Boomer to you, sir. Thank you, sir. That's how you win a bye week in Auburn, Alabama. So we appreciate your service there.
We almost made it to the end of this episode without referencing it, but he made sure that we did. So yes, Boomer sooner to you, sir. Well done. I don't know, by all accounts. Episode 150 in the books. Thank you all for being here. As we go, I want to remind you that the Auburn Creed asks you to do these things: to do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. We ask you to do the same. War Eagle.
War Eagle.